Do you want to know what's happening around the world of sports? Look no further than The Bench with your host, Blaine Owl.
Welcome back to The Bench on this Thursday before break as I sit down with junior high head wrestling coach AJ Ganger as we talk a little bit about the upcoming football bowl games along with this year's Piqua wrestling season. AJ, I've understood that the varsity Piqua Indians went to Edgewood this past weekend in a duel against the Cincinnati Edgewood. What can you tell me about how some of our wrestlers performed?
Well, it wasn't a duel, it was like a tournament, so there was probably about 12 teams there. We ended up having one placer, a couple other guys maybe won one or two matches, and then they got knocked out in the consolation round. Lance Reeves ended up getting second in his weight class. He pinned his way pretty much to the finals. And then in the finals, he lost a tough one, a 7-4. He said he thought he should have gotten some back points, but he didn't end up getting them at that time. But I mean, Lance is going to do some damage this year. He's 5-2 already this season.
Yeah.
I think Lance has a really good shot at getting to districts. Now, how far he would like to go, because the top 4 districts makes the state.
Right.
How far he wants to go is up to him.
Yeah.
And how hard he works.
Yeah, his first match of the year, from what I heard, he took a tough loss to a defending state champion who's also a D1 wrestler going to Ohio. That wrestler is from Wayne. I can't remember his exact name, but I heard
Padilla. Yeah, he was a Division I state champion last year. It was kind of, it wasn't a shock to us, for being around this area. I grew up with his dad. Me and his dad, we ref together now and everything. And it was kind of like a wow, Jake actually did this thing. And, he's a really good wrestler. He's going to be good for years to come. And he went out there and he did what he was supposed to do against Lance, and that's go out there and get a 6-minute match in.
Yeah.
I mean, Lance was on the mat for maybe 20 seconds with him last year and ended up lasting the entire match this year.
Yeah.
Granted, that kid was probably working a little bit more on his things and his style, but Lance was out there fighting.
Yeah,
and
that's all you could ask at that point.
Yeah, he is showing so much improvement, not only on the mat when he's wrestling, but in practice. I can sit there and I can see, okay, Lance, you are getting better at A, B, and C. You need to keep going and getting the rest of your alphabet done.
So has the junior high wrestling team had any meets this year?
We've not had anything yet. We're still in the midst of practices. Our first meet will be on January 7th. We'll be at Fairborn for a try. I believe it's us, Fairborn, and West Carrollton that night. We're just grinding it out every day. I mean, it's one of those things where, all 12 guys got to come to practice, show up on time, and be ready to work, because my practices are not very easy, and they'll tell you that. And we're just working our way towards getting to that first meet. Other than that, I've been out officiating some matches, high school, junior high levels. This weekend I'll be in Blanchester for a high school dual tournament they have there. So other than that, I'm excited for this first meet. I'm ready to get this season underway. But because the season ends so late this year for junior high, normally we're done at the end of January. We're actually done at the end of February this year. And the way that we have our schedule going for the MVL, it all dictates what we're doing.
Yeah. So leading into that match, how confident are you in your team and their ability to, score some wins this year and become, really well prepared for this the high school team?
I really think the newer kids that we've got this year, we're starting to improve and get to where we need to be. There are some kids that are, they're going to go out there and they're going to get beat. That's just what's going to happen. There are 3, maybe 4 kids on my junior high team that actually have experience, like multiple years of experience. Landon Martin being one, Avery Wiley being the other one, Dylan Johnson being one. I don't have Max K anymore, but he's in the room helping our junior high team get better. Because he got held back this year. I mean, just having him in the room and having experience, it really helps our team. He's in there 3-4 times a week. It helps our team because I'm able to tell him, hey, go help this kid real quick. I'm helping these guys out. That way we're on the same page, and these kids are getting the same knowledge that he's gotten from me for the past 2 years. I think we're going to have some kids win some matches this year for sure. Hopefully we can get some kids to win tournaments.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's been 2 years where it's second place, or you got 2 guys in the finals and both of them lose, and at the junior high level, coaches get to pass out the awards, and I've always wanted to pass out the awards, but I just haven't had that opportunity to do that yet. But we will get there, and we'll get our kids. into the finals. Landon Martin definitely should be one that's in there. Avery Wiley, she should be up in the top as well. Elijah Ross, another one who's got experience. We just have a lot of the kids who were all around the same weight class. So here pretty soon things are going to start working itself out once I figure out what weight do you want to go. Okay, 2 people are going to be in this weight class. We're going to have a wrestle off. Right. And then from there, one will stay, one will either go up or have to go down.
So as we kind of transition into football, before we talk about the bowl games, I want to go ahead and talk about the Heisman. Obviously, a lot of people saw it coming. Joe Burrow brings home the hardware. What can you say about Joe and the season he's had, and the other 3 finalists that have all had great seasons leading up into the playoffs?
Joe Burrow just had one of those Heisman seasons, and I'm saying a Heisman season because a lot of people didn't know who Joe Burrow was last year, but he was the starting quarterback still for LSU.
He was.
And Joe Burrow this year just had the ideal Heisman season. He went out there every game, didn't have one single bad game.
No,
I mean, you would have thought maybe the Alabama game, he would have had a bad game. Maybe the Auburn game, he would have had a bad game. Maybe the Florida game, he would have had a bad game. Hey, maybe in the SEC championship game, he would have had a bad game. Maybe against Texas, he would have had a bad game. No, not a single bad game for Joe Burrow. He definitely deserved that Heisman Trophy. I'm not, not to take anything away from the other 3 finalists. My top 4 or 5 would have been a little different, and I'm not being biased towards anybody. I honestly think that Jonathan Taylor or J.K. Dobbins or Travis Etienne or even Trevor Lawrence should have been in New York. Honestly, all of those guys should have been invited to New York, because if you look at the top 10 standings, or the way the votes came out, they all were like 1 through 10.
Yeah, they're all in the same area.
I was kind of shocked when you looked at the voting, and Jalen Hurts was actually number 2. I thought Justin Fields was going to be 2, Hurts 3, followed by Chase Young. It was kind of shocking, but I mean, for the things that Jalen has been through over the past 3 years, leads Alabama to a national championship. Then he gets hurt, and then his backup quarterback takes over for him, and then he's on the bench, doesn't have anything to do. Transfers to a good school in Oklahoma where Lincoln Riley's taking him over. I mean, they've had their struggles this year. Oklahoma has. They just suspended 3 people for the championship game. I did hear that yesterday. A defensive end, a running back, and I can't remember what the third one was. But, I mean, if you thought Oklahoma didn't have a chance now, Oklahoma, I don't think definitely has a chance going in against LSU now.
So, real quick, championship games, we match up. Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, Oklahoma, as we were just talking. You don't think Oklahoma can pull it off. Neither do I. But Clemson, Ohio State, right now, I'm thinking it's going to be as tight of a game as it can get. And I'm pulling for the Buckeyes, but I'm not sure. That Clemson team, they've been quiet. They've been kind of shadowed off. You don't play a tough schedule. Let's not take that away from them. They are a great football team, and I'm excited to watch these games.
I mean, I think it'll be a close game between Ohio State and Clemson, but nobody wants to play Clemson in this first round. And I know the Ohio State fans are upset that they got knocked down, but you knew that was going to happen. I mean, when Ohio State came out and got down 21-0 against Wisconsin, you knew for sure, okay, even if Ohio State comes back and wins this game, they're going to not be number 1 next week. And I'm not saying this just because I'm a Michigan fan or anything like that. I'm saying this with the unbiased, this is my opinion on what's going to happen. I honestly think it's going to be LSU-Clemson in the national title game. I think LSU is going to beat Clemson. Clemson's just had, I would love to see them. I think we finally get our first number 1 seed as a national champion this year, and I think it's going to be LSU. Even if Ohio State does beat Clemson some way, I think that LSU wins.
Okay. Obviously, being a Michigan fan, they play Alabama. Kind of a tough draw. Alabama, they lost in the Iron Bowl without Tua. Shea Patterson, he's been better this year, I would say. But, obviously the last game that they played was against Ohio State. They kind of lost some momentum. What's some keys for Michigan to, get in there, play that tough Alabama team? Saban's going to be fired up. Bama's going to be fired up. What does Harbaugh and Shea Patterson have to do?
I think they just need to keep playing the same football they've been playing since the second half of the Penn State game. I mean, when you went back and looked at that, kind of sparked their season. The offense started clicking, and there was even signs in the Ohio State game. I mean, Michigan probably could have hung with Ohio State offensively. If they would have made some more plays, the receivers wouldn't have dropped so many balls. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones dropped 4 or 5 balls, watching that game. And Michigan probably could have, I'm not saying they would have won that game. I'm saying they probably could have got within 2 touchdowns instead of 4, for the second straight year. But just, going back and looking at it, Michigan just needs to keep playing the same ball they've been playing. What's a good thing is that there are not Michigan players sitting out of the bowls this year.
Yeah,
they're all coming back. Shea Patterson, Khalid Hudson, Josh Uche just announced that he was going to be going to the NFL, but he is still going to be playing in the bowl game.
Yeah.
So that's what Michigan needs. These players want to go out there and they want to perform. I mean, I think that if they weren't playing Alabama, it may be a different story.
Right.
But I think because they're playing Alabama, they want to go out there and show that, hey, we're still Michigan football and we can still do this.
Yeah,
I think Alabama's going to eventually win the game, even with their second, third string in the long run. But I still think Michigan can make it a good game, and it's going to be one of the better games of the bowl season.
Yeah, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about maybe a couple more. Obviously, the Pac-12, Big Ten, Rose Bowl. It's a classic. It's been that way for a while.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Oregon. Who do you got and why?
You see, I look at this game and I'm torn. Because Oregon is so good. I mean, they've only, their losses this season, the Arizona State loss is the only one that looks really bad.
Yeah.
And then the Auburn loss at the beginning of the year, I didn't think Auburn was going to be that good this season.
Yeah.
For a 3-loss Auburn team is the most dangerous thing in the entire world. And, looking back at Wisconsin, they had 2 tough losses to Ohio State. That's it. I mean, those are your only 2 losses. They blew Michigan out of the water. They beat Minnesota, who was supposed to be, pretty high up there, and then they kind of fell off after the Penn State game. I'm so torn. I got to pick Wisconsin in this one.
Me too.
I think the Big Ten, I think Jonathan Taylor not being invited to New York is a little bit of motivation for him.
Sure.
That kid deserved to be in New York. That kid deserved to be a Heisman Trophy winner at least sometime in his career. What more could he have done?
Yeah.
I think that Wisconsin's going to go in this Rose Bowl. They're going to win one for the Big Ten. It's going to be close because Oregon's got that Justin Herbert and the high-powered offense.
Yeah.
But I think Wisconsin's defense makes enough plays, and so does Jonathan Taylor to win that ball.
They got a good pass rush coming off the edge. As a Buckeye fan, I've witnessed that 2 times that the Buckeyes I've played them this year. They can definitely get some pressure on the quarterback.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so with that being said, I'm really looking forward to watching all these games over the break. Should be a fantastic wrap-up of our college football playoffs, finals, bowl games, etc. The junior high wrestling's coming up. High school wrestling is going to continue.
High school wrestling tonight, for all those you who don't know, go out to Vandalia Butler. They are at the MVL Duels tonight. They open up against Fairborn. I believe if they win that first duel, they'll take on Stebbins, who is the number 2 seed in the MVL, I believe, this year. So the boys wrestling team's out there wrestling tonight.
Yeah.
I believe the next time they wrestle will be during the holiday tournament weekend when they're at West Jefferson. So get out there and support
on that
them.
holiday tournament, the Indian Nation Station live broadcast of both the games here at the Garber Gymnasium.
All 4 of them.
Yeah, will be live on the Indian Nation Station, broadcasted live, produced live. That's the holiday tournament. We will have Pickle, Lehman, Bethel, and Troy Christian all battling for that trophy. Pickle looking to two-peat as they won it last year, looking to repeat for that win this year.
Let's talk a little bit about Pickle basketball real quick before you get out of here, Blaine. Last night, girls basketball team get a huge win, 30-point win, domination when it came to playing West Carrollton. Tyler Yeomans, Aubrey Shrub with the entire offense.
Two-headed monster.
And defense.
All night.
And Carly Johns, too. Carly Johns intercepted so many passes that were so bad. I mean, you called the game last night. What did you see?
I was up there with Iverson, and coming into all the games, even when I announced the Sydney game, it's been number 4 Tyler Yeomans the whole year. She's averaging 17 a game. We knew that she had to get out there and get a big game, but kind of as the game progressed, out of nowhere came Shrub, who just seemed to snatch down rebound after rebound and, would just find her inside, get a nice easy layup. And then, Taylor Grunkemeyer had played a great game. She's second in assists. Carly Johns is doing really well this season, just playing really well defense. The Lady Indians, I think, improved to 5-3 last night.
Yep.
They have a decent stretch where I think they go on a run heading into Troy. The Lady Indians they're rocking right now, which is a good thing for them.
Yeah, it kind of hurt them starting out, 1-3, I believe, in the MVL.
Yeah.
But like you said, this is going to be a stretch where they can start pulling off 4, 5, 6 wins. getting into those big games against
Yeah.
Troy and Sydney again.
Yeah. And then the boys basketball team, it's kind of been not the season that they've wanted or started off to, but this weekend, this Friday actually, they play Stebbins at home here on a Friday night. Last time we played here on a Friday night was last week against Xenia. They got their first win. The student section was huge. A lot of the players said, you wouldn't believe how that impacts the game. And as a football player, I believe that. When our student section is at its best, for some reason, it just seems like we rise to the occasion. So maybe the boys can. Stebbins is an extremely good basketball team. Maybe their football team does struggle, but their basketball team is top of the NBL right now. So if we can get a win there, maybe we can get some momentum rolling into this season.
You talk about the student section too. Let's get more and more people out to our girls' games. I mean, they want the same support you guys do. They need all that support that you guys can give them. I mean, these girls are out there busting their butts every day at practice as well. Let's get out there, support them. Get out, support our swimming and diving teams. Get out there and support our wrestling teams as well. Blaine, one thing going back to the wrestling thing. Last night was the first ever in the state of Ohio.
Yeah,
the first ever girls high school wrestling duel between Oldham-Tangi Orange and the Miami East Lady Vikings.
Yeah.
It ended up being, I believe, 46-38. Oldham-Tangi would get the win. But just, I went to high school at Miami East. That was where I went to high school at. For them to be the first school to host a girls duel, to me, it's amazing to see where our sport has come.
That is fantastic.
It's inspiring not only for all the girls that are wanting to wrestle or girls that already are wrestling. I think it's inspiring for everybody who wants to get out there and wrestle. The sport of wrestling is becoming one of the most popular sports again in America after they tried to get rid of it in the Olympics. The Olympic 2020 games coming up with wrestling here in the summertime. You have guys like Kyle Snyder trying to go out there and get gold medals. Jordan Burroughs is going to try to do it again.
Yeah.
David Taylor, Kyle Dake. You're going to have all these guys who wrestled not only for their colleges respectively, but a lot of those guys are from our Ohio area, believe it or not, guys.
Yeah, right around
so get out there, support wrestling as well. I want to say congratulations to both Miami East and Oldham-Tangi Orange last night for both hosting that duel. Miami East did end up losing their duel to Covington. I didn't get the exact score of the regular boys team.
Yeah.
They ended up losing to Covington last night as well. So they had two mats rocking in that gym. It was, I guess, the atmosphere was amazing. I wish I could have been there, but I was here running the games with you guys. But then again, that had to have been one heck of an atmosphere last night.
That's fantastic that you can actually have girls that feel comfortable with going out there on the mat, wrestling other girls, competing with each other, gaining that competitive edge, and just doing frankly what they love.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you for everyone who tuned in today to watch this Thursday episode as we head into Christmas break. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thank you, AJ, for coming on and talking. I always love, these off-script interviews.
Yeah.
They're the best, personally, for the show. So I want to thank you. Thank the community of Piqua, and I hope everyone has a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.